That should be pretty much everything at this point, I believe. I believe I can fly. All right. Oh, and there a. There's a. Oh, I forgot I unloaded that module. It doesn't do that anymore. Okay, that's fine. All right, so we are going to get this show on the road here a little bit. I'll do it here. I can sometimes, but doesn't look like it's going to be this time. Nope, not going to be able to do it this time. Okay, that figures. It's fine. All right. So we're going to be playing around with a couple of different scripts today. For those who are familiar with it, there are two inventory, well, there's more t's two, but there's a couple of scripts that I use on and off, and I'm starting to use more regularly, including Tim, which we're going to be setting up over here. And we've actually got some statuses and things set up, so we'll be able to tell what's going on with it. But I wanted to walk people through the absolute, like, just setting everything up for the first time. You know, you've never used the system before, because I know that there's a lot of confusion on Tim specifically. One of the other things that we're going to be setting up is we're also going to be setting up the floor plan script. So we're going to end up with this basically showing our full base, hopefully. we're gonna try. We get it to work sometimes. I know the floor plan script, it's a little intimidating because of the tags that they use for setting up everything. And with Tim, it's more of it's a complexity based on all of the stuff you can do. So let's go ahead and get into it. I believe I've got this one set up for Tim. Yes. Okay. So, like any other script, you need a programming block. With Tim, I don't believe Tim has been updated yet to not use timers. I will check to make sure. I am setting it up with the timer block. So what we're going to do is we've already edited the program. Basically, you just go to the workshop, you find Toledan's inventory manager, you say OK. It imports. If you're not sure if it's going to work or not, you can run a check. Ooh, excuse me. You can run a check code. Check code will give you whether or not it compiles correctly, and then you're going to remember an exit. Now, I also have a timer block already set up, and that's actually in a different room, and we're going to call this the Tim timer. And I'm going to set a delay. Taladin actually says he uses a 5-second delay. I'm going to try running it on 2 seconds. I don't normally need it to update this quickly, but I want to make sure that it is working the way we want it to. Okay, so we wanted to pull this, and we're going to find our Tim block. We're going to drop it down here, and now we're going to run this with default argument. Basically, it runs with nothing in the command line, just runs the application. And we want this to be start, I believe. So if we now start this, awesome. And we're gonna have that run silently so the ticking doesn't irritate the hell out of everybody. So, all right. So Tim is now running. Yay, Tim. Okay. Now we're gonna do a couple of different things here. First off, I've got this bank of monitors here, and what we're going to do is we're going to have our output span these vertically. So we're going to have an inventory list that starts on the top and continues on the bottom. And then we're going to have a different inventory list, probably a maybe set up the quota over here so we can see what our quotas are. And basically what that's going to do is it's going to help us take a look at what we've got. Because right now, what we have set up is we're using the automated LCD script, which does a lot of the same things. What Tim will do is that if you're not at quota, it'll actually balance things around for you. So it'll balance your processing, So if you have an ore that's ridiculously critical, it will basically shuffle things around. Now, what this means is that your inventory system becomes very hands-off. Tim will do all of the work to maintain your minimum component counts as long as you have resources. If you don't have the resources, we're going to actually have a status system over here that tells you, that you're missing something. All right, so first, the most simple way to do this is I'm just gonna call this Tim inventory, and then all of Tim's commands, for Tim to actually recognize this, you have to have an open bracket. You want the word Tim space, and then we're gonna do just a generic inventory. So we should be able to get away with that. Right. So you get this long thing of text, right? And as you can see, the text is really tiny because, well, Tim is basically trying to put a lot of information in one area here for you. Now, we don't want it to work quite like that, so what we're going to do is we want this to span. So we're going to give this a second command where we're going to say span, and we want it to go 0, 2, I think. Is that right? Let me check that to make sure. It's been a while since I've had to set up a spanning panel. Ah, it's just a space. Okay. That's why. Right. Does it have to be all... Oh. Because he took my comma out. Now, is that going to work? Because you should only have to update the top left panel. Are you not going? All right. So it keeps taking my all right. So if we do 2 by 2, oh, it's a colon, that's why. Come on, Tim, you can do it. Are you? So if I do 2 by 2, we get that. But see, I don't want 2 by 2 because I don't want. I'm trying to. Is it? Oh, you know what it might be. There, her. There you go. All right, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this out. We want this to be, you know what, we'll leave that alone. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this to show just the queue. Oh, let's see here. We should have a quota. So this should be Tim quota. Helps if I spell it correctly. All right, so our tag is going to be Tim. We're going to tell it we want the quota. And we're going to have it span. 1 by 2, close bracket. There you go. Okay, now, if you want to change things around, like if you want to change the font for all of the panels in the span are actually going to be based on the font of the top left panel. So what we've got set up here, if we wanted to make this a little easier to read, we could actually change the font size, and then that will actually carry down on the panel below it as well. Now what we're going to do over here is I want to be able to tell at a glance what Tim is doing. So we're going to call this one Tim status, and we're going to use the same tag. And what this will do, or what it should hopefully do, there you go, is it tells you basically what's going on with Tim, right? Tells you if it's running this, it's going step 1 of 1, how long it took to implement, and what the process load is. So there's no errors going on. Basically what this allows me to do is, at a glance, if something over here doesn't look like it's working properly, I can basically look over here and see if there's any problems. And Tim will throw up a status over here to let me know that there's a problem. Now there is a debug version of this as well, where you can say Tim debug. This one throws up a lot more information. So I don't recommend using this one unless you know what you're doing, or you have an area where you have a giant amount of space available so you can have this thing span multiple screens, and probably you want to do it with wide screens. Now, one of the things to keep in mind when you're spanning like this, you can only span across the same types of displays. So if you have an LCD, like we're using the generic or default LCD here, if one of these was wide, both of them have to be wide, or all of them in your array have to be wide. And just keep in mind when you're doing the spans, what you're going to be doing is you're saying span horizontal, vertical, right? First number is horizontal, second number is vertical. So what that allows you to do is to span as many displays as you want. I've seen actually arrays of, I think, like, I want to say like 12 displays, because it was like 6 wide and 2 tall or something like that. It was crazy. But yeah, Tim's got a lot of things that you can do, and it's pretty nice because it will actually tell you what's going on and where things are at. So like with here, we're looking at the refineries. It tells you what's processing in which refinery. So right now we've got 1 refinery running cobalt, 2 refineries with ice, which are my oxygen generators, 2 with nickel, and 1 with uranium. I have four refineries on the base, and that's basically setting them up. So yeah, works really, really well. And then for the components that you see up top, that actually does the same thing. It just tells you how many assemblers you have running them. So makes it easy. All right, so now that we have that running, that means we can reclaim some of this. Now I do like these because they do give me a little bit more of an easy to read feature, but it doesn't give me all the information. So if I need more detailed information, this is where I'm gonna look. Oh, and I'm thinking we might go ahead and repurpose at least yeah, I'm probably going to end up repurposing these. The automatic LCDs actually have a lot of other features that I can use. So, and then I've got, you know, telling me how many refineries are running versus how many assemblers are working. And then we have power reports and fuel levels. All of these are automatic LCD consoles, and these are all TIM. So, all right. So we're going to do that. Okay, so that's the first one. The second one, and like I said, if you do have any questions, feel free to reach out and let me know. This stream will be exported over to YouTube as well. There's a 24-hour embargo, obviously, from Twitch because of the affiliation status. So what we're gonna do is probably like a Wednesday this week, we'll have this video over on the YouTube side as well. All right. So now the next is the floor plan script, and as you can see, it's already running. This is an updated script, so it does not require a timing block. We do not have a timing block involved. The thing basically goes back and re-triggers itself constantly. Now, this one is a little bit interesting because this one has a lot of custom script tags that you have to use. So what we're going to do is we're going to set up some basic things here. We've got everything already set up. So what we're going to do is, this is going to be the first panel, and what we want is we want to name the panel. You can name it whatever you want, but you have to have this tag in it for it to show the default stuff, right? So we want this to be, we're going to say main panel, right? Main floor plan. And we want the text font to be monospace. Okay? Now, when you have this set up, just back out of it. You have to go to your programming block. You can do this from anywhere on there. And what you're going to want to do is you're going to type in the augment reset, and then you hit run. What this will do is it refreshes and gives you an updated panel display. Okay. Now, anytime you add a panel to what this thing is doing for display purposes, what you want to do is you'll need to rerun the timing block or the programmable block with the augment of reset. And that basically tells it to go back and check the network again to make sure nothing new has been added. Now, the system itself actually has a lot of different things that you can do, including having things like showing hidden blocks. You can half grind terminals, you can hide specific things. What are some of the other things you can do? So if you wanted to have more than one of these, what is it? It's upright, same type, no gaps between them, and set it to monospace, I believe. So I shouldn't have to do anything other than to set this to monospace. And then we run the recompile. Did he grab it? Should have grabbed it. I don't know. So top leftmost, maybe it's because it's only 2 panels? Well, let's find out. Let's go like so and like so. Oh, you know what? No, that's right. I should be... Let's see if we can get the computer to build this for us. We need... There we go. Alright, so let's go ahead and take this one out. Okay, and we're just going to call this LCD. It doesn't matter. Just call it LCD. Alright, so this one is going to be here. I'm going to set this to monospace. This one we just leave alone. We're going to set to monospace. Went past it. Hey Sharky, how you doing? Demon, how you doing, buddy? When we see the Sexy Panda workshop, worship on the workshop, when I'm done greebling it. I've been ignoring the greebling on that because, well, it's just, yeah. Let's go ahead and get rid of that. Alright, so now we're going to try rerunning this script. I don't normally use the spanning feature, so it's interesting. Could be high or caffeinated. Well, you know, as long as you're one or the other, it's okay. It's all good. L panel. Don't tag the others. Upright, same type, no gaps between them. Maybe it's... No, it should be... Oh, okay. It helps if I set things up properly. I always forget to do this. Underscore count. We want this to be 2. And then we're going to do AL, thank you. Count equals 2 as well. Okay, let's try that again. I always forget to do that. Only seeing 1. Why are you only seeing 1? Did I not set... Okay, what did I not set up properly? Let's take that out. Let's take that out. What's in custom data? Okay. Actually, let me make sure I spelled that right. Okay, everything looks like it's spelled correctly. Alright. Okay, so why is this not working? What am I forgetting? For some reason, everything is set up, everything is monospace, everything is... Custom data of the programmable block. Ah, crap. Okay. You know what? Let's do it the easy way. You know what? I should probably go ahead and take that out of there. Oh. Man. See, this is why I do these things, so that I can make the mistakes and you don't have to. All right. Okay, now reset and run. There we go. Big floor plan. That's what I wanted. Okay, so now what this thing is doing is it's basically telling you what the block looks like, the block count looks like on the build. So anywhere that you see the gray area is basically space that you can walk around in. The blues are the doors. The yellows are connectors, I believe. And then everything else is just a shade of how open it is. So what you're seeing there is basically the blocks that are occupied. So anything that with the green highlight in it tells you it's an occupied block. That's what it comes down to. And these are blue because they're open. So if I close these, that updates to take away the blue. And basically what that's telling you is that you've got it set up to where you've got an oxygen leak in those locations. So let me take that. There you go. And as you can see, it does update in real time. Now the fun thing is that all of these outlines that you see, all of those green blocks are basically functional blocks of some type. So what ends up happening is that the system will actually color code them as they take damage. So if you have a warship or any type of ship and you have this script running and you get into a fight with like pirates, PvP, whatever, you let somebody pilot and they run it into an asteroid or into the ground, you'll actually see the damage update on here in real time. So yeah, you're going to be seeing a lot more of this particular script in both my single player as well as multiplayers series, and then I may start using Tim more for the display stuff. Hey Red, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. Happy Monday. So we're just going through setting up some of the more advanced scripts. I know people have been asking about it. Like I said, Tim is actually really easy to set up. This script is amazing because what you can do with this is there are alert systems in here where you can actually have it monitoring hack attempts. So if you're playing in the corruption PvE mod where it has the hacker drone, you can set a threshold that says if more than X number of blocks have been hacked, it'll actually set off an alarm for you to let you know that your ship is being hacked by the drones, which is amazing. All right, so in order to set that up, let me get into here really quick. Oh, so we're gonna set up, so you can set up things like statuses, which we are going to do here. Sorry. Hey Red, thanks for the sub. Appreciate that. It's hard to believe it's been 7 months already. Wow, that's crazy. Okay, so I'm gonna steal Tim's little status update here, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna call this one the let's see, we're gonna call this report. All right, so it's underscore L underscore report. And then in the title, we're going to call this, we're looking for, do I want functional? Yeah, let's go with the functional blocks for now. And I need to go in here. We're going to delete all of that. Okay, and let me show you what this thing does. This is actually fun. So we go ahead and run that. We reset, that went fine. And basically it's telling me I have 169 out of 169 functional blocks. Okay, yeah, not too useful, right? Well, if we go, let's see. Let's go functional refineries. Right, tells you, as you can see in the background there, it's updated saying I've got 4 working refineries. If we then say assemblers, trying to remember how to get it to show both. There is a way to get it to show both. Let's go. And then I want to say, oh, that's right. It's comma, comma. Oh. So if you do comma, comma, you can then tell it, I also want the function of assemblers. So basically what happens is the longer this becomes, the more information you can put in there. So if you do comma, comma in it, it basically says that's a carriage return. And then lets you put in the next. So we're going to say work, and we're going to say assembler. All right. So it tells me all 4 assemblers are powered on and working, which is kind of redundant information. We don't really need to know that. So. But you can set up anything like this. If you have turrets, you can set the turrets up here, and it'll tell you if you can have them say if they're firing specifically. If you have them set up for, you know, assemblers, refineries, basically anything that has a working function is a lot of fun. So what we're going to do now is we're going to say, let's actually set this up as an alarm. Alright, so what we're going to do is, by default, we can actually do all of these, I think. I don't know, can we get away with putting all of these on here? I don't think we can get away with putting them all on there. Let's get rid of that. Alright, and we're gonna go run this. Okay, there we go. So by turning on the alarm system, it tells me that my ship hull is now at 100%. My terminals are at 100%, which is good because it means basically nothing's being hacked, nothing's been damaged. We've got one vent that is apparently leaking. We've got no sensors, no blocks hacked, and no turret shooting. So what you can do then is, with something like this, you can actually add in a sound block. And if you set your sound block, we're just going to put it here for now, just because, makes it nice and convenient. And what we're going to do is we're going to say, we have to wait for this thing to finish. So So we're going to grab the sound block out of the panel here. And we're going to name this alarm. And we want this to be underscore the event, which is going to be hack. And we're going to say we want it to be one or more blocks that are hacked. And we want... yeah, that's fine. That's fine. All right. So now we're going to rerun this again. Reset and rerun. So what'll happen is this sound block will play whatever the audio file is set up. Whoop. I don't remember what we have it set up for. Oh no, it's alarm. Right. Let's load at textures. What did we name that thing? Ah, alarm hack. That's what we're looking for. Okay. So what this is going to do is, if anything hacks, we want this to be. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause the music for a second so you can actually hear this. Because what we're going to do. So if we get a hack, that's what it's going to do, right? And we want this to be, I don't know, like 10 seconds. Just because we want it to be annoying. And that tells us... yeah, and that's going to tell us that basically if we get a hack detected, it's going to go off, and we can set up lights like this so it all ties together. Really, really useful script. So if you haven't played around with it before, I do recommend it. It's a lot of fun. All right, so we know that's going to event atmosphere. That's fine. Now we can see, so we now have a board that tells us what's going on our ship. We have an alarm that will go off if we get hacked, and we have a very quick visual indicator of what's going on the ship as well. So, yeah, that's exactly right, Demon. And what's nice is that once you recompile everything, let's go ahead and run that. So we've got 13 alert blocks, terminal, nothing's hacked, air vent alert. We've got one leaking air duct, which is actually in here. That one is leaking because we have this door up here open. And then we'll probably set up the debug stuff on these two screens. That way we'll be able to find everything a little bit easier. All right. And now we should have 2 air vents leaking. Right? Are you just tracking? All right. Let me rerun that. Should have redone. Alarm. All right. Are you messing with me? Yeah, you're messing with me, aren't you? You're on status. Oh. There we go. Okay. We're just going to leave it there. And what I said, like I said, basically this panel is now telling me the status of the program in operation, which is nice. That means I don't have to go into the block to see everything. So. Oh, all right. So for the folks who haven't been following the live stream, let me show you what we've been working on here. I'm going to actually Open all the doors so we can see all the doors. Okay. Now, what we've been doing is, this is, if for Friday's live stream, this was the base we started working on with Sharky. Over the weekend, recorded a couple of videos, including the welding of this beast and the breaking down of the old one. So let me show you what we've got. So this is what we ended up with for our base. So this whole thing is actually mostly flight stable now. Has a build and repair on it, obviously, so we can actually go do mining with it. But we now have a completely mobile base. And then if we want to be really funny, let's go over here. Let's say we get to an area that we need to be able to run around on. Well, we can do that now too. You are you that one? No, that's the one up there. Okay. So basically we have to, I haven't set this one up yet. This one's just kind of our braking area. It's not really meant. We want to unlock, turn that block off. All right. And should be okay. But we can take our ship out. Should be Weird Al virus alert when you get hacked. If I was willing to take the copyright strike, I would agree with you. No, that would be awesome. If I wasn't recording, I probably would do something like that. And yes, Sharky, this is the base that we were working on Friday. This is what happens when you let Bob run for, you know, something like I don't know, close to 8 hours. All right, so we can bring this back up. Now I do need to still work on the embarking ramp here. I haven't done that yet. And what I'm thinking I'm going to do, did you just catch yourself on the, you did. All right. But what I'm needing to do is I need to do a little bit of work on the embarking ramp for this thing. Basically, I need to set up something that isn't going to get its face melted by the thrusters here when we're flying around. So I'm probably going to build a small undercarriage here that'll drop down, come across, and basically be flush with the system. But the problem that I run into with this is that the platform here isn't going all the way down. So if I ever want to deploy this thing while I'm on the move, basically I won't be able to use that. So we'll see. When it didn't really follow. Well, see, Sharky, you only hate it because of the fact that it's it actually works. Well, and you keep getting yourself killed because you play with the gyros too much. So all right, so this thing is actually up and working. We have just spent a complete in-game day setting up scripts. How are we doing for it's sunrise? We're okay. It's still early in the day, right? Oh no, wait, that's sunset. That's I forgot I turned the base around. All right, so let's go ahead and see. Much more stable than the other platform base was. So this is what I was talking about with the other base, is that the original base was never built around the idea of being mobile. So what happened was that the weight and mass loads were never centered. Pressed X and it exploded. It didn't explode. It jumped probably about 50 to 60 meters in the air and then it exploded. So yeah, we actually have a mobile mineral extraction and processing facility now. And it's even got a couple of cryopods on it that Sharky was nice enough to put in, as well as the med bay. Oh, I don't think I showed you the med bay now that it's all welded up, huh? But the nice thing is that this thing can actually fly pretty much like a plane. Obviously, you do not want to flip it over. That would be a very, very bad idea and a very short flight for most people, so. But since everything actually locks down because we have it either clipped in on a connector or on landing gear, we can actually get this thing going pretty good. Hey, no worries, Red. We'll be here for a little while. So you do have to fly it kind of like a plane. You do need to bank your turns because we haven't put in large thrusters to offset the direction of travel, mainly because of the fact that they just take up too much room. And outside of just showing the thing off, we don't really take it, 50, 60, 100 meters a second normally. So what we're doing is just banking it around. But we now have a base that we can pretty much get anywhere on the planet that we need to. With the solar panels, if we find that we're starting to run low on power, what we can do is set down, and we'll always have the ability, once we find more uranium, we'll always have the ability to actually come back and process it. So it's a nice little ship. I'm really liking it. And because the entire underbody is the heavy armor blocks, gives us a little bit of durability too. All right, so let's go see. I'm going to try and get into one of the biomes we haven't spawned yet to see if the ore markers actually are back. That was one of the updates early or late last week that were supposed to be done. Little hot fix. And I'm still not really seeing ore shadows. Somebody said that they changed it so that the ore detection, like the shadows for it, are now related to the terrain that they are in. So, no, Demon, that's not the one from before. You'll get to see the old one, the first one that we built, and the outcome of it later this week. I think that's tomorrow's video. It's either tomorrow or Thursdays. I don't remember which. Sorry. I got a lot of Space Engineer stuff done this week, so. But yeah, I'm really liking the way that this came out. It handles really, really nicely. But Sharky, this is one I'm not going to let you fly. Sorry, buddy. All right. Now what I should do is let's set this thing down. We'll make a save. We'll make a separate save, I should say. And we'll crash this into something so you can see the damage indicators on the screen. And it's always fun to crash things every so often. Looks like a golf course down there. Now, I may actually have to cut the stream a little bit short. I'm a little under the weather. You might be able to hear it in my voice. My throat's a little scratchy today. We've had some really weird weather here in the Bay Area where it's gone from, like mid to high 70s down into the low 40s in the span of a couple of hours every day. I mean, we were up in like the 80s late last week, and then when I take the dog out at night for his nightly walk, it'd be in the mid 40s. So Arc had its TLC pass 1. Nice. So what you're saying is you're trying to get me back into Arc again? Is that what it is? Alright, so we have our ore detector on, but we're not really flying low enough to see anything, so I'm guessing, let's let's go sit down on that plateau over there. And what we'll do is we'll do the save. We'll reload a copy of the world. And we'll blow some stuff up. So you can see the damage indicators. Maybe the Rex's boss and Sabercats poop themselves, huh? Very nice. Alright. So we're gonna let this thing slow down on its own. Should be good. Okay. Now this is the thing about it, is that if you want to really go anywhere, you really do need to fly it kind of like a helicopter, more so than an airplane. Mainly because of the way that it's built. Now you can get around these issues by just adding large thrusters to it. You know, if I really want it to solve the drift problem, I would just remove the laterals and make large thrusters back there, which I might end up doing. I haven't decided yet. We'll see though. Wolves look awesome. Well, the wolves always looked awesome in that game, so. I've always been a huge fan of the character models and the creature models in Ark. They did a really nice job with it. Epic rotors to the miner. I actually had rotors on it. Basically, what I was thinking about doing at one point, and I may come back to this, is things like this mining craft here, like the little miner, or the plane, the little scout. I'm actually thinking about having a merge block on them, and what we're going to do is with the merge block, we'll mount a rotor with a small rotor head on it, so we can mount the small merge block on the bottom of the ship and just have the vehicles attached to the bottom. Smaller and thinner face, very nice. I'm very curious to see that. All right, I might have to make a stop into Ark this week. All right, so let's go ahead and get this thing landed somewhere, hopefully safely. We're just trying to get this sorted out here. All right. Very cool. Please do. You might have to send, if you're going to try and post it in chat, you'll probably have to send it to Sharky. YouTube tends to be a little weird about, you know, people posting links in the chats. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and make a copy of this. Actually, let's save it. We're going to save as again. Fun copy. All right. Okay, so we're going to reload the mod, or we're going to reload the map. Let's make sure we have the right one loaded. And what we're going to do is we're going to make a weapon. We don't have shields on the base, so we should be able to do a little bit of damage to it without having to worry about burning through the shields. All right. And this is the nice thing about having a save with so few mods on it, is that it loads really quickly. Oh, yeah, sorry. I forgot we were on Twitch right now. The drawback of live streaming on both platforms. Alright, so let's grab... Oh, let's grab 10. We'll grab 10 magazines because we can. So this is going to be large cargo. Drop this stuff off. Because, well, we don't need to be running around with parts on us here. Okay, so let's run over here really quick. And yes, I could have gone the other way. Okay, so take a look at this. Remember it, because it's going to change here in a second. We want character weapons and tools. Thank you. All right, so that's the front of this side is the front of the ship. This side is aft of the ship, right? So looking at this, these are the two doors that are here, and those blocks are in use. So let's go ahead and Bob is turned on. Okay, Bob, come here, buddy. We are going to turn you off. There you go. Okay, so we just had a block get destroyed, so now you can see there's the damage indicator. Now, if it's a functional block, the functional block will actually... I probably shouldn't have shot that one. There it is. So you can see the functional block here, that's the LCD, is now yellow because it hasn't been destroyed. It's just taken damage. Which works really nicely because, well, you know, if you're ever in a situation where you need to do it, it's nice because it'll tell you, like if you're playing in PvP, or like we were saying earlier, if you're doing PvE. Alright, so now we're going to turn Bob back on, let Bob fix our stuff up for us. There we go. And we are going to grab all blocks. We're going to go light block here because that's what we did before. Let me go grab... crap. Alright, have to grab some plates out of here. There we go. And Bob's going to help us this. Nice. Yeah, it's always great when they actually get around to fixing things like that. All right. And then as you can see, basically everything that's been repaired is working again. So yeah. That is the floor plan mod. Now this thing, like I said, it actually has a lot of information that it's passing that you can get. Just again showing you the status bar. Basically, it's telling you everything that's going on in the grid. So that, coupled with Tim, just makes basically everything you need or everything you want to be doing, pretty much automates everything that you need. So if you just want to have like a giant ship that you don't have to worry too much about, these two things together, and then you use, like, say something like Bob, the build and repair tools, and they will actually basically keep your ship going for you pretty much non-stop, you know, as long as you have resources to process and power to do it with. So but yeah, so I'm liking the way that this whole thing turned out. It actually turned out really, really well. Okay, so what we're gonna do, yeah, we'll save it. I'm gonna reload back into the actual save. Because we're gonna do a little bit of work on the ship as well. So if you do have any questions about either Tim or the floor plan script, let me know. I'll be glad to try and answer them for you if I can. Like I said, I know that there's a lot of things in the scripts that aren't always necessarily easy to use or to understand. For me, it was a lot of trial and error figuring out how to get things to do what I wanted them to do. So, and you are going to be... There was something I wanted to do with these, and I don't remember what it was. Can we get away with just... L panel, right? And monospace. Always forget I always forget that I have to set this stuff to monospace. Now for the floor plan script to work, you have to be using monospace now. Looks good as far as I'm concerned, but let's see. Did you not? Or are you going to make me actually, from now on, if I want to run that? Oh, you're going to make me have to do 2x2s everywhere now. Oh, that's sad. All right. I like having the large grid like this, but I don't want to have it everywhere, so we are going to do that. Why are you not? You're the floor plan script, right? Yeah. Did I misspell something? I may have misspelled something. No. All right, here. Let's see if we can figure out what did we screw up? We screwed something up somewhere. Let's see here. I want to check to make sure we're doing everything right. L panel, monospace. All right, no, that's should be working. Monospace font. All right, let's try doing this then. Let's recompile, run. That was not what I wanted to do. All right. And basically all I'm doing here is I'm taking out the all of the text that it places in there in order to there you go. In order to get the graphics off the so let's go here. We're going to go say L panel. And we're going to grab all of this. All right. All right, so why is this one is it detecting this as a separate grid for some reason? Because I have it set up on one of my other saves where I actually have this map in multiple places throughout the ship. I'm going to have to look into that. I'm not sure why it's not working now. That's really annoying. Alright. Let's go ahead and bring the music back. Let's move on to a new song there. Ah, okay. Is the base wheelchair accessible? Yes, yes it is actually. Hey Zebra, how you doing? Is it a typo? It might be. Let me check. I don't think so. Oh, yep, you're right. Oh, yeah. There's a reason why I use the name the Eternal Noob. Hey, look at that. Oh, crap. So, I'm gonna actually have to set this up. And welcome to the stream, Zebra. Hope you're having a fabulous day. Panda fail, yep. Oh. Oh, I don't have it set up for points. Hey Sharky, remind me later to give Zebra 100 points for that. That was good catch, Zebra. Good catch. All right. See, I'm sitting here trying to figure out. I'm like, why is it? Yeah, typo. Oh my word. All right, so we came in from that way, right? That way. All right. So it looks like if they have updated, because one of the last patches they did last week was supposed to reinstate or restore the ore patch, the surface discoloration for ore patches. And as I am not seeing it, I am going to assume that it may mean either that they did change the texture so that it does blend into the terrain a little bit more, or that the has to be on a fully re-rendered planet, like if I started a complete new save. But yeah, well, you know, Sharky, you get cookies. They don't get cookies, so. Alright, so we're going to head back to the ice lake because I want to pick up hydrogen. And I'm thinking what we're going to do this week for the normal live stream. So we should have a live stream on Wednesday here on Twitch. And then we'll have the Tuesday and Thursday live stream over on YouTube. If you're not following me over on Twitter, you might want to do so. That way I can let you know if that changes for some reason. My schedule tends to be a little weird during the week sometimes. Comes from the whole, you know, looking for a full-time job while doing live streams too, so. Oh, alright, so let's head back this way. Like I said, we're going to go hit the ice lake again. Well, hopefully not actually hit it. We'll land on it gently in a controlled manner. But I do want to see if we can figure out the discoloration thing. But I'm not seeing... Yeah, I'm guessing either they changed it so that it's a little bit more subdued. Because I had somebody say that, yeah, there are new textures, and the textures were being misapplied before. And that was why no one was seeing any of the discolorations. And what they've done is they're supposedly made it look better. So, Demon for mod campaign. Oh. Well, Demon, as the channel grows, I will be adding more moderators. So, right now, the folks that have the moderation status are people that I either record with. Well, I've recorded with everybody who has a mod status right now. So. Just makes it a little easier to keep everything, you know, together, as it were. Only one cookie a day. Hey, that's more cookies than Sharky gets a day. And there's our little valley area. Now there is another ice lake that way, I think. Let's head that way. Let's go ahead and bleed off some of the speed quickly. But yeah, like I was saying, basically what I'm planning on doing this week is I want to get, for the live streams, I'm probably going to start building to get us into space. Part of that will be to convert this thing, because I do want to get up into space, get some platinum going so that we can get ion thrusters. But I'm thinking I'm going to make this an interplanetary vehicle. I may go so far as to just make this be a dropship. So instead of having the regular planetary lander, you basically use this thing as the planetary lander. The way to space. It's that way. And yes, my chair can do this. Hey Mortimus, how you doing, man? Welcome to the stream. Happy Monday. Hope you're having a fabulous week so far. Agenda Space Program. Oh. Yeah, I saw that. The big patch on, was it Friday or Saturday? For those who don't know, in the big update that they did where they updated the graphics, they added this ability for the hydraulics on ground-based vehicles, the rover style vehicles, to jump. So if you got stuck in a small crevasse, you could just hit X and basically the thing would chamber and then jump. Well, there was a small problem with it. If you were in a game, in a multiplayer game, and somebody was, like the server host was in a vehicle, when they did it, all of the vehicles that had people in it basically would start doing this now. So it was entertaining for some people. But, you know, if you were on the receiving end of it, it's funny the first couple of times, but... So the feature is fine. They just need to, you just need to remap the feature. They need to rebind it. So yeah, so now what happens is that only the person who is in the vehicle that has control, only if they hit X will it do it, but it still does it. So it's an interesting feature. Like I said, I can see uses for it. But my thing is that generally space engineers, if you get stuck in anywhere where you would need to use that kind of feature, your vehicle's probably going to be heavily damaged anyway. You built a rocket car and it blew up with you in it. Nice. That's always fun when you do stuff like that. I'm actually thinking about I was going to use the, what is it, the torpedo, the custom torpedo mod, the missile system. But unfortunately, I've heard that it's broken right now. Like the mod author, I don't know if the mod author started deleting it. Because one of the folks who was doing conversion mods over for the DX11 stuff was the Witch. And I've heard that the Witch is basically, I don't know if the stuff's being pulled or if they're removing it themselves. I'm not sure what's going on with that. So. Oh, Witch was completely removed from Steam, really? Wow, I'm wondering what the story was on there, because to my knowledge, they always had permission from the mod author. So I'm guessing something changed. A little bit of Steam drama there. Interesting. Well, hopefully it's, you know, nothing bad for them. I'm hoping it was something that they chose to do. Because I know the Witch was basically had a pretty huge following. Oh, this might have been bad. Nope, okay. There we go. For those who don't know, the Witch is one of the people who did quite a bit of the DirectX 11 changeovers. But that would explain why yeah, that would explain why some of the mods I had that I know the Witch was listed as the author for are now no longer in my mod list. So the Earthbreaker drill doesn't work anymore? Oh, that's... I'm gonna have to check that, because I have a couple of... Yeah, because I think I have one of the fixed versions of it. Nickel, silicon... but I'll definitely check my my mod list to make sure, because that's gonna be bad. Because the Witch was on a lot of updated mods. The problem is that Nexus and Space Engineers don't work well together. And at least not for the Steam version. I don't even... Does the Space Engineers even have a Nexus entry now? I was hoping to find some uranium over here. There's usually some uranium in this area somewhere. This is the lake that I normally build on. So a lot of the resources tend to be the same. There it is. So yeah, the uranium, silicon, magnesium, and then there's usually iron over here in the hill. Let's make sure that it is. Arc soon? Maybe. I need to get the server host for community servers resolved, because the current server host, I want to make sure that we have a good solution for everybody on the community. I don't want to have a situation where we had last time, where, you know, we just have all sorts of problems with the connectivity on the server. Hey Jess, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. Happy Monday. Welcome back to the channel. Let's see here. There's usually, I thought there was iron right here normally. I think we got the crappy spawn. Alright, so I would really like for the thrusters to have that same mod, or the same option that the hover engines give you, where you can have it set to the gravitational field of the planet. It'll auto level. So okay, so let's go down here, and then as you can see, I did go ahead and close this in specifically so that we'll be able to take this thing into space and have the ship be airtight again. Okay, so you are still locked. That's good. Actually, how much light do we have in here? looks like it's bright enough, right? I don't need more lights in here. Okay. Now I do need lights out here, unfortunately. So yeah, basically what I was talking about doing is with the vessels or the different vehicles is to put in a an area down here where we'll have, so in the middle of the ship, you know how we have the stairwell that's leading down? I'm actually thinking about building an undercarriage on this. And what we'll have is an area to mount different vehicles, like the land-based vehicles and maybe the scouts and stuff. So you'll basically end up coming down a ramp like around here-ish. And there will be a gantry area down here that you'll be able to get into and out of the vehicles. Hell has been added to the YT script. God. Thanks, Sharky. Oh, alright. Okay, so this is... Okay, so I think we're gonna call this one here. My my voice is starting to give out, and I want to get, you know, basically give it a chance to rest a little bit. So I want to thank you all for stopping in. Before you take off, let's go see if there's anybody else doing some Space Engineers. If anyone knows anyone that is up and about that you think deserves to have a few people stop in. Yeah, see, here's the nickel and iron over here. Okay, so yep, this is the lake I normally build on. Right, let's see who's doing some Space Engineers today. Oh. Coil gun's up. Let's see. Anybody? You know what? Let's go say hi to Coil Gun. So we are going, at some point I will actually get all of this stuff figured out here. I really need to set this up so it's a little easier to do. So let's go pay a visit to Coil Gun, if you would be so kind as to give him a good old-fashioned panda pounce. Let him know that the panda is there and in a friendly mood today. Anyway, I'm gonna get out of here. I hope you all have a great day. Have a terrific week. Thanks for stopping in. If you want to keep up to date on what's going on with the channel, either here or on YouTube, you can find me over on Twitter. If you are interested in seeing more and want to see the rest of this as a standalone video or any of the other things that we do, because we do a bunch of different games, you can find us over on YouTube side over here. And if you want to be part of the actual community itself, feel free to join us over on Discord as well. I'm going to get out of here. I hope you all have a fantastic day. Have a fabulous week, and we will see you back here next time for more Space Engineers. As always, folks, take care and be safe out there, everybody. And go give Coil Gun a good old-fashioned panda pounce.